Well, we all got the email, school is closed and we got to homeschool. How are we going to survive homeschooling and working from home and everything else that's going on right now? Well, I've actually survived homeschooling and working from home by choice, so I thought I'd give you a few tips that I've learned, and I hope that it helps someone out there, so stay tuned. Hi there, I'm glad you're here. I'm Summer Aston. I'm a realtor with Silver Creek Realty Group, and I usually make videos all about living in Boise and real estate, but today's video has nothing to do with real estate. It has to do with what is going on inside the walls of our own homes, learning how to homeschool and work from home and stay sane. And there are reports trickling in that this might be the situation for the rest of the school year. So if this new situation completely overwhelms you, that's okay. That's how all of us are feeling right now. It was incredibly difficult for me, having made the conscious choice to homeschool and work from home, and I can only imagine how much more difficult it is for those of you who it showed up in your life overnight. It's hard for you and it's hard for the kids. This is all new territory. There are lots of really great videos out there that are going to give you practical homeschooling tips, but honestly, what everyone really needs help with right now is how to survive this time and stay sane, and maybe even make it so that we can look back during this time period with some good memories. So these tips that I have for you are in no particular order. Just see which one resonates with you today and, just start there. Okay, my first tip goes along with your internal dialogue that we have going all day long, and that is to get rid of the SH word in it. So not the words you're thinking of, but the word should. This word I found when I was homeschooling and working from home was really damaging to my thought cycle. You're thinking things like, I should be getting more done. My kids' teacher should be teaching them this. My kids should behave better. I shouldn't have to deal with this. Anything you're saying should about is not actually happening. It's not the reality. The reality is you're not getting as much work done. That's okay. You are taking time to teach your children. That's a really important work too. We need to stop dwelling on what we think we should or should not be doing, or what should or should not be happening. And we just need to accept and allow the reality of what actually is happening. Who is telling you what should or should not happen? It's you. So the good news is you can change that. It's important that at this time that we really live in the present, that we accept what is, and that we give this same grace to our children, because this is hard for them too. My next tip is no comparisons. Do not fall into the trap of comparing you to everyone else in your shoes right now, or comparing your children to each other, or comparing to your children to other people's children. We all do things differently. Even your children are going to learn and deal with our current situation and process differently. So what if your best friend posts a picture of her 8 beautiful children sitting in a row at the table doing all of their homework diligently, and you know what? Your kids are rolling around on the ground kicking each other watching Netflix. It doesn't matter. Maybe you'll have one child who is excited to work online, and then you have another who refuses to do anything. Everyone is learning and processing things differently, just as each family is doing the same around us. So do the best you can with what you have, mentally and physically, and expect that same for your children. You'll have that comparison voice that creeps into your head. You're going to tell that voice, I am enough. My children are enough. The amazing thing is that you and your children will actually begin more improvements without thinking or planning for it when you honor and accept that you are enough at this point in time in your life right now. My next tip for you is to set realistic expectations. So this one is really important, and it reminds me of when I had my first newborn. I just thought I should be able to jump back into normal life within a couple of weeks, and I thought I should be able to do all these things that I wanted to do. And reality sets in, and that's just not the case. I felt like a failure because I couldn't do those things I thought I should be able to do, and I had unrealistic expectations. You know, once you have a few babies, you start to learn when you have that newborn, as long as you're keeping children alive or taking a shower, you feel successful. But it's important that we set realistic expectations to feel successful, and that is the same with homeschooling and working from home right now. So I'm not saying to not set any goals for you or your children, but I'm just saying make sure that there are things that you guys can actually accomplish that day so that all of you feel successful. And remember that success is a process. It always happens little by little. And this, again, is going to look really different for everyone. So here's something I learned that goes along with setting those realistic expectations. It's important that you take the time, especially now, to praise your children and yourself for what you can do, and then just let go of what you can't do. If you're feeling anxious about what is or is not getting done, then evaluate that expectation with humility and honesty, and let go of the idea that done is somehow synonymous with success. It is not. And again, who is telling you that you're not good enough or that your children aren't good enough unless certain things are done? So yeah, it's us. You are. I am. So the good news is, again, is we can change that set of expectations and let go of those unrealistic personal evaluation systems. The next tip I have for you is to accept your new role. But I found this very helpful as I navigated those really turbulent waters of homeschooling chaos and working from home. I found myself getting caught up in that, thinking that I'm not qualified to teach these kiddos. Maybe you're thinking that other people are better with your children, and we define ourselves a lot of times by what line of work that we are doing. So we kind of have a hard time accepting our role as teacher and full-time caretaker and entertainer and everything that we are put into this new role right now. I really suggest, and I had to do this, I practice telling myself that I am my children's mother. I know them better than their school teachers. I know their hearts, I know their desires, I know their learning needs. And so actually I am the perfect teacher for my children. And you are too. You are the perfect teacher for your children. You might not believe it at first, but just start telling yourself that. So our society has trained us to send our children to public school and allow the teachers to take care of their learning needs. And that's fine, and it works really well. But right now we're in a different situation. So the faster you can accept your role as teacher, the faster that you're going to find joy in this circumstance. And honestly, again, who is telling you that you are not the best teacher for your children? It's you. So yes, this is new for your kids too. They are also learning to accept these new roles, but they will go off of your energy. So if they sense and know that you are accepting your new role as teacher, then they will begin to accept it as well. It's not easy. They'll say things like, my teacher did this or my teacher did that, and you'll say things like, I'm your teacher now, or whatever. But over time, you will learn with patience, and they will learn with patience as you both learn to accept this new role. My last tip for you is probably the most important, and that is taking personal time. And there's two aspects to this: personal time for yourself, and then respecting and establishing some personal time for your kiddos as well. This actually took me a really long time to learn. So usually this needs to happen where you can have no interruptions. So in the morning before your children get up, or in the evening after they go to bed, or you'll find something that works for you. This is really important to surviving homeschooling and working from home right now. Between everybody at home needing you and everybody at work needing you and everything else going on, you're going to be constantly giving away all of your emotional energy. So you need this time to heal and restore your mind. I cannot emphasize this enough. If you only incorporate one thing that I've said today, incorporate this, because when you get to a state where your mind can be clear and quiet, then anything else that you need to do in your life to survive this time will come into your mind, and you'll find what really works for you. So what does finding this personal time look like for me? Well, it means I get up earlier than the kids do and make sure I have enough time in the morning to do some praying and meditation. I also spend time doing some really calming and gentle yoga, and because this yoga is so important to my life, I'm going to leave the link down below so you can check it out, Yoga with Adrienne, and it's free and it's wonderful. And also during the day, making sure that you take technology breaks and that you set aside time to take breaks from certain work things when you can. And then in the evening, again, go out on a walk, enjoy some fresh air. And as you learn to honor and respect your personal private time, your children and anyone else living in the household will learn to honor and respect that with you. And that in turn really feeds your soul so that you know that you are important and that you are so important that you are going to take time to heal your mind and your emotions so that you can be the best you for that day. The second part of this time, this personal time, is personal time for your kiddos. So they actually need space from you and their siblings as well. And this is going to be different for every child. With younger kids, they often can't communicate that they need their space. Their worry about this new way of life and what they hear in the news or what they hear in our adult conversations, it can manifest itself in anger, in crying, anxiety, feeling like they want to do nothing, feeling completely overwhelmed by a simple thing online or their online class that you think seems really easy. The list goes on and on, so it's just important that we're sensitive to them and that we allow them to have some space to watch a show or jump on the trampoline or whatever it is they need. I do believe in sibling sharing, but with homeschooling, and especially right now with everyone at home and in each other's spaces all the time, it's really important that your children each have a safe space. Surviving homeschooling and working from home really is all about our mental arsenal. And maybe if you can incorporate just a couple of tools that I talked about today, maybe we won't just survive homeschooling and working from home, but maybe we can actually thrive. Maybe we can actually make this a time where we'll look back on it with really fond memories and just enjoy this moment of recentering on life and what's important. I hope you found some of these tips helpful for you. I know that a lot of you are struggling right now. This is really, really difficult. It is a lot of weight on our shoulders to be responsible for homeschooling our children and working from home and keeping up the morale of everybody in the family in this really interesting situation. But I'm super impressed with everyone out there. But everyone is coming together to stay at home safely, and it really is an amazing thing. Comment down below if you have any concerns or questions about homeschooling and working from home. Maybe I can answer them for you, or maybe somebody else can comment and answer that for you. Also, please consider sharing this video if you know anyone that could use a little encouragement on how to survive homeschool and working from home. Please remember to do what you can, but let go of what you can't. We will all celebrate when we can be together again. If you happen to be interested in actual homeschooling laws in the state of Idaho, you can check out this video right here. If you need to, go hide in your closet. That's why they started making bigger closets, you know, for mom bunkers. So go take advantage of that and stay safe, my friend.